Hello, this is Paulet Downey, and I'm back again with another skincare minute. So, this segment, I am going to be talking about hyperpigmentation, how to minimize getting hyperpigmentation as well as getting rid of it. So hyperpigmentation could, first I'm going to talk about the skin. So I'm going to talk about the skin before I talk about the products that are available for you to get rid of your hyperpigmentation as well as keep hyperpigmentation from showing up on your skin. So hyperpigmentation is birthed at the basal level of the skin. So this is at the bottom level of the epidermis. So we have what are called melanocytes. So these melanocytes produce melanin. And as we know, melanin basically is skin pigment. So it is what gives us the color of our skin. Now, what happens when any kind of injury occurs to the skin, such as a cut, a wound, a scar, any kind of burning, like from sunburns, it could be from chemical peels, as well as acne, acne and the residual that is left as a result of the acne from pregnancy, from a condition that is called melasma, which is seen on many Asian women as well as Hispanic women in their late 30s, early 40s, due to the amount of pigment that they produce in their skin. So all these different reasons of why we see hyperpigmentation show up from these various reasons, as well as skin diseases. I mentioned acne, also the family of eczema. You will also get, hyperpigmentation as a result, skin discoloration as a result of the skin diseases being on the skin. And so this is how, and what happens is when these things happen, like when these occur on the skin, the melanin in our skin produces at a faster rate. And so that's why you see the melanin darker in those areas where, the injuries and the disease have come on the skin. So, because the melanin now it increases as well. And sunburns is like a classic one, as well as acne, as I mentioned. So all of these, variations of how we get variations of hyperpigmentation. This is how we get them. Variations. So, what do we do? How do we care? How do we get rid of hyperpigmentation? How do we prevent hyperpigmentation from happening on our skin? From happening on our skin. Sorry about that. So, there are plenty of over-the-counter products that are available that work really well with getting rid of hyperpigmentation as well as preventing hyperpigmentation from happening on the skin and skin discolorations. But first, I'm going to talk about the drugs, various drugs that you would have to, go to a dermatologist in order to get these prescriptions for the skin. Hydroquinone, probably the strongest drug on the market for from minimizing and actually getting rid of hyperpigmentation on the skin. At a prescription level, it would be 4% or greater. So this is not something that you are going to find over the counter. This is something that you would definitely have to speak, excuse me, you would have to speak with a dermatologist in order to get a prescription for it. So this drug is probably the strongest ingredient that will actually just completely get rid of hyperpigmentation, what happens is that it inhibits the melanocyte from producing melanin in the areas of the skin that have discoloration. So that's basically what it does. Like it inhibits the melanocytes that produce melanin in the skin to prevent it from producing further melanin. So as it does that, as it decreases the melanin that is being that comes from the melanocyte, then the color of the skin in those areas will diminish. So there is a natural way that our skin does, where our skin does diminish. The hyperpigmentation discoloration. So like because our skin, we're constantly shedding skin on a daily basis. So this is constantly. For I don't know why I'm coughing like this. I just don't know why. But for babies and toddlers and young kids, they are shedding skin. Like they have a cellular turnover in 1 week. So in 1 week, they're getting new skin every week. When a person hits puberty to like their 20s, then it's anywhere from 12 days to 19 days. After your 30s, or I should say mid to late 20s, then it's about 25 to 28 days when the skin is shedding dead skin. And then after in your 30s, we're shedding skin from 28 over 28, so it's about 30 days, 35 days. We're shedding skin for new skin. Like our cells are regenerating at a 30-day, 35-day period. So the skin is constantly shedding dead skin, always. But like I mentioned, as we get older, the cellular turnover of the skin, it becomes slower. So when a child, for example, and this has happened in many cases, when a child experiences any kind of injury to their skin, scarring, no matter how severe it is, tends to heal rather quickly. So as an adult, chances are you will never see that scar, no matter how deep it was, unless it was really serious. And even then, it has healed at such a level because of the cellular turnover in that child's skin and when the accident happened at such a young age. But as we get older, because our skin does not renew itself as fast, as quickly as when we were children, the chances are that the scar is going to not completely heal itself unless we use products, of course, unless we use products immediately to actually exfoliate and reduce the or increase, I should say, the cellular turnover of the skin. So this is why it's so important also to take action immediately when you see scars on your skin. Because another thing, as an adult, if you do not target that, like any kind of like hyperpigmentation on the skin, like if you do not target that within a 2-year window, the chances of you getting rid of that scar is going to be next to nil. So it becomes very difficult after 2 years if you neglected doing anything to get rid of the scar, especially when we're talking about dark skin. The darker the skin, the more difficult it is to get rid of the scarring if it is left uncared for. So there is that 2-year window that we have in order to completely get rid of scarring that's taking place on our skin. Taking place on our skin. So if we don't take advantage of that, then the chances become less that we can get rid of those scars on our skin after a 2-year window. So it's very important that we take action immediately when we see scars. So I started off with hydroquinone, number one. The dosage, like I said, the concentrations, 4% or greater. That's by prescription, so you have to see a dermatologist for that. So we also have azelaic acid, which is a milder version of hydroquinone. So it's a milder version of hydroquinone. It also, what it has is it also fights bacteria. So this one is also good for acne as well as clearing up any kind of hyperpigmentation or discolorations to the skin. So the concentration levels at that for a prescription are 15 to 20%. So that's what you would get at, from a prescription medication of azelaic acid. So it is milder than the hydroquinone. Not as potent as the hydroquinone, but it is effective as well. And so we also have kojic acid. And this is basically bacteria that is found on Japanese mushrooms. And so this is a lesser potency than the other two that I mentioned. It's for prescription, it would be 2% or greater. And it too does help with minimizing and getting rid of and also keeping away residual marks, hyperpigmentation, discolorations to the skin. Not as effective as hydroquinone, not as effective, but it will do the job. Now, these drugs that I've mentioned, all three of them, they are showing up in a lot of the over-the-counter products, skincare products that are on the market today. So a lot of them, but of course the percentage of the percentages that are in the skincare products are less than they would be if you were to get a prescription from the doctor. But depending on the company and what other ingredients are added to it, some of them have been very effective in getting rid of hyperpigmentation and keeping hyperpigmentation from returning. So some of them have been very effective. Some that I have recommended to my customers over the counter have been very effective in getting rid of melasma, in acne scarring, in like any kind of scarring from psoriasis or eczema. They have been very, very effective in getting rid of these types of skin discolorations and pigmentation problems that my customers were having. So they're very effective, very powerful. I also find another thing to help, in addition to using skincare products over the counter or by a doctor, in addition, exfoliating the skin 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the skin type. For a more oily skin, more acne skin, I should say, or a more drier skin, of course, you're going to exfoliate twice a week. And for those skin types, you would not use the granules. You would use a mechanical, like you would use a mechanical exfoliator. That is the safest for those skin types because we don't want to tear the skin. We don't want to or tear the acne for those who have acne. But and if they do, then of course, popping an acne when exfoliating, of course, is going to produce more acne on the skin. So we want to avoid that. So a chemical or a enzymatic exfoliator is appropriate for those skin types. But when we're talking about more of a oily normal dry, then you can use the mechanical, you can use the chemical, you can use the enzymatic. All those are good, and you should be exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week. So exfoliating the skin, getting off that excess, getting off those excess dead skin cells that are not shedding at the rate that they should be shedding will also help to speed up minimizing the appearance of hyperpigmentation and discoloration to the skin. So that, and also it will help to keep the skin from getting any hyperpigmentation or discoloration in the future. So another thing with and another one more drug, prescription drug that I did not mention, retin A. So anything from vitamin A. So the vitamin A derivatives. There are various vitamin A derivatives that are great for acne. You have Accutane, Epirus, Adapala. There's many tretinoid that are used to reduce severe cases of acne. And so not only is it getting rid of the acne, but it is also helping to shed off the excess dead skin that is found on the skin to help minimize and diminish the hyperpigmentation and the residual markings on the skin. So vitamin A, again, in higher concentrations, of course, you would have to speak with your dermatologist in order to get a prescription. And also over the counter, you're going to find that there are products out there with vitamin A, and depending on, again, the brand and what other ingredients have been added to the products, they can be very effective in getting rid of the residual markings and the hyperpigmentation that you are experiencing on your skin. Now, if you are getting a prescription drug, of course, these aren't moisturizers, so when you apply them to the skin, like you're still gonna need your serums and your eye cream and your moisturizers. You're still going to need those depending on what exactly you're getting it for. Still going to need those. And you are going to also need sunscreen. Sunscreen is very important when we are talking about hyperpigmentation, because if you don't use sunscreen, all that money that you spent on be it the prescription drugs or the over-the-counter products to minimize and to get rid of the discoloration to your skin will be wasted. It will do nothing. It will not help your skin at all. So all the work that it would have done, if you do not use sunscreen, it will not, what's going to happen is the sunscreen is going to just reproduce, just increase the levels of melanocytes producing melanin to those affected areas. So those affected areas will not go away if you do not use sunscreen to protect the skin. The sun, that's exactly what the sun's going to do. It's just going to help the production of the melanin in the skin and help the production to increase the melanin in the skin in those affected areas. So it's very important that you use sunscreen daily to help with getting rid of the discolorations that you are experiencing on your skin. So if you're going to go with a chemical sunscreen, of course you're going to apply it on your skin 30 minutes before going outside, and then you're going to apply it every 2 hours. And for all skin tones, it doesn't matter, all skin tones, no less than a 30 SPF sunscreen. No less, no less. This is something that is, it's just mandatory for skin. No less than 30 SPF. It doesn't matter with the ozone layer being depleted the way it is. Our skin needs an SPF at least of 30 in order to be protected. And so again, you're going to apply that every 2 hours to your skin. Now, if you're using a if you're using a physical, not talking exfoliation here now, we're talking sunscreen. So if you are using a natural sunscreen, you are going to, you don't have to wait. There's no wait time in applying a natural sunscreen on your face. Again, SPF of 30, no less than SPF of 30, and you're also going to apply that every 2 hours on the skin. Now, the natural the natural, the physical is for sensitive skin. Even if you don't have sensitive skin, but if you like the texture, you like how it feels, you like the brand. A natural is good for all skin types, but for sensitive, they need that because the chemical. A lot of people with sensitive skin or with skin diseases find, excuse me, that it irritates the skin. And so there are, now with sunscreens, of course, there is a DIN number for the chemical products, and that DIN number basically is an expiration date. So you aren't to use the product at all after it expires. So when purchasing sunscreen, always make sure to check the DIN number and to make sure that you are not purchasing an expired product or a product that is going to expire within the next 3 months. So also with the natural one, it's an NPN number, natural. Yeah. So there's a natural one as well. So there's a natural one. When I get off, I will remember. Yes. So anyway, so there's a DIN number, natural product number. Natural product number. So that is for the natural, the physical sunscreen. And again, it's going to have a date of when it expires. Make sure not to purchase that product after the expiry date. And so I don't know what it is in this place here, but I'm just coughing a lot. I apologize for this. So these are the types of products that are out there that will help with getting rid of hyperpigmentation, skin discolorations to the skin, and will help to keep the skin from getting any future hyperpigmentations and discolorations. These products, and like I said, sunscreen, all the time. You will need sunscreen. And also, like I said, exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week. That is going to help with getting rid of the hyperpigmentation that you are experiencing on your skin. That's it for a skincare minute. And until again, take care.